We are live. Hi guys, and welcome to the 8th episode of the Zildjian Talk. My name is Darshan Doshi, and really looking forward for today's episode and today's guest, who's joining us from all the way from Hungary. So that's gonna be a fun one, and let's wait for some more people to join in. Hi guys. As you guys know, my guest today is Aron Nyiro, and if you have any questions for him, you can put it down in the comments column or the question mark. As you can see, the Q&A section out there, and I will make sure that I'll ask him at the end of the session. Hi, young Indian drummer. Hi, Parth. Hi. Okay, I can see a lot of people joining in. Hi, Judah. Nice to see you here. And I'm going to give you a small introduction about our today's guest. Aron was born in the northern east part of Hungary. Although his musical skills were nurtured from primary school, it wasn't until the high school years when he decided to pursue the music profession. He moved to Budapest, where he attended the Kobenya Music Studio and started taking professional gigs. He finished BA studies in jazz drums at the Kodolani Janos University College. In the following 2 years, he was freelancing and playing with the very best of the Hungarian music scene. In 2012, Aron moved to the Netherlands to complete the master program of the prestigious Conservatorium van Amsterdam, which further widened his musical horizon. From 2016, Aron is the head of the drum department of the True School of Music in Mumbai, India. Since then, slowly but surely, his involvement in the Indian music scene is growing larger as he played and plays regularly with performers like Sheldon, De Silva, Vasundhara V, Louis Banks, Anurag Naidu, and the list goes on. So I think Aron is here, and I'm going to try to add him and see if we can add him out here. Okay. Let's welcome Aron Nyiro.
And we're online.
Yes, Aron.
I think. Hey, good to hear. Wait a second. I need to make some adjustments here, I guess.
No.
Suddenly my face just blew up. All right. Yeah, better.
Awesome.
Can you hear me well? Yeah, I'm good.
Perfect. For me,
Great.
the sound is slightly distorting, but otherwise, I'm actually pretty good.
Hold on. That might be my fan. How's this?
Yes, much better.
Any better?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
good.
Perfect.
Great.
So, Aron,
Well,
welcome to the Zildjian Talk. Finally, we have you on
Thank
the
you very
show,
much.
and a big thank you from Zildjian India and myself for accepting this invitation. And we are really excited to understand your journey and your music. And I hope we have an amazing time right now. And we also have a lot of people joining in. So it's really a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you very much. Actually, the pleasure and the honor is mine. Most importantly, because finally we get to have a decent conversation and not just pass by each other on events as it happened so far. So, yeah, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thanks, brother. So, Aron, as we are here on the Zildjian India page, let's talk about your relation with Zildjian cymbals, and also if you can go through the current setup that you've been working on with the cymbals, and what are the qualities that you choose when you especially pick up like a ride or a pair of hi-hats?
That's a very good question. It's going to be a long story also. So, well, I've been with Zildjian since 2018, so I'm a relative freshman.
Yeah.
But it's to me it's a dream come true, because all my heroes play Zildjian, like literally all of them. So this is like a childhood picture of where I want to be, So first of all, so big thanks for Zildjian for that. As for picking cymbals, let me see. That's, to me, it's a constant kind of struggle. It's a good kind of struggle. It feels good. So, but my taste changes a lot. To be honest, I kind of love. Well, all kinds of music, all kinds of styles. I really don't have, just a favorite few. Therefore, I have times when I'm into jazz, for instance, and I want the thinnest of cymbals. But other times I just want to go, I don't know, more fusion, a little bit more louder, and R&B-ish. And all of those require different cymbals. So actually, for me, it's a little bit difficult to find like one setup, which works for all. Therefore, I ended up with kind of a hybrid thing, I have of course, the K Customs special dry. Mostly, I have like a complete setup of that, and find that that's perfect for the R&B rock pop area of music. Well, as long as you like that funky barking sound, it's a little bit rough, but I like that. And then I wanted a sweeter and jazzier sound also. So I have a Constantinople also for that reason,
Right.
And well, nothing really special here. It's I think all drummers, at least all session drummers, would want to have like a few setups, for different kinds of music. The only thing which I'm really kind of proud of as a specialty is I have a hi-hat, which is not a hi-hat actually, it's two crashes, an EFX 16 and a special dry 16. Because that's the thinnest of all, So it's like a very thin 16-inch hi-hat, and it's very trashy, and I love it. So right now I have only very few here because right now I'm in Hungary. I left India between the two waves, which I guess we're gonna be talking about, and so I just salvaged like a survivor back here, So I have Constantinople 22. I have a 16-inch Everest Crash, a Kerope 19-inch, which is also kind of has it all type of crash ride, I guess I would call it. I have 13-inch special dry hats for funky stuff, and I have this 16-inch I was talking about. And this kind of covers all, because if I want to play some poppy stuff, I put on the 13-inch K Customs, and the 16-inch hi-hat becomes two crashes, an EFX and a special dry crash. So it kind of covers a lot of areas,
Nice. That's a smart move to go with only limited, but you can still play a very different, color and genre as well with those specific symbols.
Yeah, this was the goal. But I wanted to mention a few things which I realized while using them. This was not the goal or the purpose. I just realized that, for instance, I have the 21-inch special dry ride, and I got it because I wanted it to be used in groovy stuff mostly. But it turns out to be very nice in jazz also. That's a surprise to me because I didn't expect it from it. Of course, it's different characteristics from the thin cymbals, but still it just blends so well. And then a Kerope I mentioned the 19-inch. That's also a cymbal which it's a perfect crash also in rock music, for instance, and that's also something I didn't expect from it, So I'm still discovering these guys, actually, exploring still.
That's amazing. Yeah, like especially the new sets of the dries and the K suites, and especially the Kerop has such more variety now. With the crashes, and also now coming with those big crashes, especially for rock and stuff, which is like a 18 or a 19-inch crash. And they fit in really well with the genre, with rock music or pop music as well. So that's been really cool. Aaron, what is that one kind of quality that you look out for a jazz ride, especially when you're playing jazz music? As you had mentioned, Constantinople.
Yeah.
Have you also tried out the other the Renaissance and some the newer rides which have come with Zildjian?
Yeah, I had the opportunity to try quite a few, but I haven't tried them all, of course, because when you get into the K custom slash Constantinople zone, it's like candy bar. You find everything there. There's way too many of them. But good question. What am I looking for? First of all, a crisp sound. By that I mean I want to hear my stick on it while playing. Even if I play loud, I want to hear that tick tick tick. You know, the definition. That's what I love, and that's what the special dry also has. Although it's different sound characteristics, but somehow the attack is quite prominent on both rides. So that's number one. I want to hear that, and then when it comes to the sustain, all cymbals are different. So I guess what I like is the complex sound when it has like a decent body, very prominent attack, and that sort of like a high-pitched sizzling kind of sound. Like the Constantinoples have that mostly, and one ride which I was looking for so badly. What is it called? It's not in production anymore, and so. Please tell the Zildjian guys, or I'm telling them, start making that again because that was a fantastic ride. Bill Stewart's signature ride.
Oh yes.
I think it was called the Dry Complex. K Custom Dry Complex ride. So anyway, that's one of my favorites, especially when it comes to jazz. That sort of world. That's what I'm looking for.
Nice. Aaron, are you also into like stacking cymbals? Like nowadays, obviously, you see a lot of drummers, especially getting that clap sound and stacking, whether it's a 10-inch crash, a 10-inch splash over with a 10-inch China or an EFX with a Oriental China. Are you also into stacks?
There are people who are more into it, but I'm also experimenting with that now and then, yes. And now that you mentioned that, a third application for that hi-hat I was mentioning, the 16-inch, is a stack. Put those two together and it's very nice. I have a video with beer puppets up on YouTube. You can check them out because I use that there. So it's like, it has multiple functions. Yeah. It's a hi-hat, two crashes, and a stack all in one. So nice. I love it. Yeah, so I'm into it, but not like professionally, like some other guys who experiment with those all the time. But now and then, I check stuff.
Amazing. Aaron, talk about the last 1 year, like, for us, especially in India, the musicians, the drumming community, a lot of people have been going through a lot of hard times all over the globe. How have you managed to, keep motivating yourself in these hard times and making music and, recording drums back home? If you can just give us what's been happening in the last 1 year with you.
Well, it's been a roller coaster for me, to be honest, and I can imagine how tough it might have been for some people who, especially those who solely try to make a living from live gigs. That must have been a tough scene because of the true school of music. I'm lucky enough to have a more or less stable job, besides playing. So even though, of course, instantly the gigs dried up because of the pandemic, it wasn't like a life-threatening emergency. So I had time on my hands to think about what the next move may be if necessary. But nevertheless, the gigs dried up, and I haven't met actually. Even though I'm a relative introvert, a musician has to be in a community. There's no solo drummers, not many anyway. We play in bands, right? So we make music with people. But first, when the first lockdowns, actually I was very motivated. It was finally I have the time I always wanted. So
Right.
I'm gonna compose, practice the piano, drums all the time. And it actually kind of happened for like 3 months, and then the magic went away. And it became harder and harder to motivate myself, to be honest. So to get through a whole year of this, for me, it required discipline, frankly. I had to discipline myself and say, I don't know when I'm going to have the next gig or if I'm ever going to finish my compositions, but I need to allocate some time pretty much every day, sit down and do it. And sometimes it's happening, sometimes not so much, but I guess that's just the nature of things. So to me, discipline and listening to music, because new music, which I haven't heard before, that can be motivating. So yeah, collaborating with people also. I pushed myself, frankly, but once you get into the process of making a video, for instance, with your pals, it's fun. So that gives you a little boost again for a while. And then you have to figure out something else. But basically this is the strategy. Every now and then I just produce something for my own,
Right.
fun's sake. That's basically it.
Awesome.
And then hoping for better times.
Right, right. Yeah, man. Everybody's pretty much kind of trying to work on collaborations these days and trying to see if we can at least virtually, play with each other, if not like in the same room. So yeah, it's pretty much been the case for most of the musicians here in India as well. Uh, Aaron, let's go back, as a teenager, if you can speak about your upbringing and the what kind of music were you into, and what were your earlier influences and mentors that you were following
Sure,
as a drummer?
sure. Oh, the list is almost infinite, but actually you might find my early history. I'm not going to go to like childhood memories because there's like an infinite story then.
Right,
But I remember quite clearly that I was about 16, I think.
right.
I had some formal education and all, but nothing serious. But at the age of 16, I got totally hooked on Green Day and the Dookie album. That's the best. I still
Nice.
love that actually. So that's actually what kickstarted the whole thing for me. And then somehow I just couldn't let it go ever since. So Green Day. Yeah, and then I ventured into rock and metal music actually. I started with metal and double bass. I was a big Dream Theater fan, and then other kinds of the same sort. Yeah, I was practicing with like weights on my legs and all that, I was like quite heavy on it at that time. And then but actually the world opened up when I joined my first serious school, which was the Kőbánya Music Studio in Budapest. From then on, let me see. Well, I got to know all the greats: Omar Hakim, Wacko, Vinny, Dennis Chambers, the fusion guys mostly. So I was into fusion. I'm coming from this jazz rock side actually, and yeah. But actually, I was listening to bass players most of the time around that age for some reason, like Victor Bailey and Marcus Miller and all the bass players. I love them. And then let me see. Big influence, Horacio El Negro.
Ah,
After this came a scene when I was for 2-3 years I was just into Afro-Cuban music only. Like I did nothing else. So, and probably that is why in my home country I'm still considered the Latin guy, Although actually I sailed onto other waters since then, but that was a big influence and still occupies a corner of my heart and always will, of course. And then And then I got into jazz a lot, and now I don't even really have like one specific person. There's so many I like, some maybe more than others. One of the biggest influences from that side would be Bill Stewart for me. As I mentioned, his ride for a reason. But then there's just so many. It's hard to name them. But definitely I would highlight Vinny, Horacio, and Bill Stewart. Those three. But then also from the youngsters now there's so many I love. So yeah. But let's just stay with those three. I guess those are the highlights.
Also, any kind of a basic practice routine when you join school? What was the practice routine like? Was there a proper working out on concepts or rudimental stuff, or like what was the practice routine for you back in the day?
Well, it depends on what era we're talking about. In the beginning, I must say that I have the feeling that I had to figure it out for myself. Because we were just bombarded with material, books and recordings and just jumping into deep water. And I felt that, of course, I mean, our teachers told us that we should be doing this and that, but somehow for most of us, I felt that it wasn't really clear. So what I discovered, because I was researching who gets to play, who are the good ones. There were many, lots of students, and I was curious, why are the good ones the good ones? So one thing I discovered is that they don't only finish the homework week by week, but they do extra stuff. That was one major difference between those and the rest, and also a few other things like they were like very honest to themselves, and it seemed to me that they're very rational actually, and organized and all that. So I doing those kind of things like the older students were doing, and I developed the golden rule: touch the instrument every day. That's a golden rule even today. Unless something happens, I would even take out the sticks and do my warm-ups on Christmas Day. That's very important to me. So that's number one. And then when I was doing my BA, that increased and I learned new techniques, blah, blah, blah. But basically what formed in Amsterdam is what I still do, which is that I have a set of exercises which are changing all the time actually, depending on my needs. But these I call routine exercises, warm-up exercises. But don't necessarily think of them as like single strokes and double strokes. It could be, but it's changing according to my current needs. It could be like coordination stuff, whatever. Point is that those are like very simple and basic, non-creative exercises. Those I do every day, no matter what. These are just to oil the machine, And then I segregate the remaining part of the practicing also into creative and non-creative exercises. I find this important. Non-creative is just digging deeper into the material, what I'm working on. Let's just, for instance, say I'm working on odd time signatures, for instance. My warm-ups would be also dealing with sevens and fives and whatnot. And then the non-creative main part of the practicing would be whatever, transcribing books or whatever material, more complex stuff. And then finally creative exercises, which is actually probably the most important, which could be improvising with the same stuff. That's probably the most important for a musician. Playing along tracks, whatever I make up for myself, But the point is that there's a chain here, so that my warm-ups, my non-creative exercises, and my creative exercises all serve the purpose of getting ready for a stage with that particular concept, So I'm going from simple to complex, basically, with a given framework. This is what I'm trying to do.
Right.
If I have the time and the and the diligence for it, but I'm trying to find
Correct.
it.
Correct. Aaron, any top five albums? It can be any genre, which kind of changed the way you look at music or even drumming. Like, five albums.
Oh, five. Okay, I'll try. Let me see. Well, Green Day Dookie, I guess, to
Yes.
start with. And then Dream Theater Awake, still from the rock era. Okay. Which one should I? Rhythm of the Soul, Dave Weckl band. Oh, excuse me. Let's replace that with Victor Bailey's Low Blow. Actually, that was the
Ooh, I
big
love
one.
that album. I love that
Yeah.
album.
And okay, I can see your house from here, John Scofield and Pat
Perfect.
Metheny.
Yes.
Um, and now I guess James Farm. You know that band. I
Right.
don't even know the album title. I tell you honestly. I think it's just James Farm, their first album.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Anyway, that's what I'm listening to right
Awesome.
now, actually, and this also has changed certain things in me, playing wise also, but also looking at music from a compositional perspective. And thanks to that, now I believe that I can do it also. So I'm trying to do that
Nice.
also.
Nice. We also got a couple of questions, Aaron, regarding the technique part as we are talking about rudimental stuff and all. First one was basically kind of understanding dynamics, and this gentleman, Mr. Raman, was asking was how can he work on dynamics, especially when he's playing something like in the jazz scene. How do you
Mhm.
work, and what is like an exercise that you can recommend for him?
Okay, actually, there's plenty. Um, First of all, I think it's very important that one gets control over different dynamic levels. So this is very simple. What you do daily, do it loud, do it soft, and do it all in between. It's that simple, really. And then, funnily enough, the next thing I would do is actually listening to the music very, very carefully and in a very, very detailed manner. So um, because when we're talking about like comping in jazz, for instance, you find books and everything, and the notes are beautifully written down. But if you listen to Jeff Watts, for instance, or Bill Stewart, as a matter of fact, those sort of little dynamic intricacies cannot be written down, even if they tried. What those guys played. So actually, the oral skills are used here mostly. You,
Right.
you have to sharpen that. So you have to listen to music. You know what I would do, frankly? I would take a piece of music, just a few bars actually, from my favorite record.
Right.
I would cut it out, put it on loop, and just learn it. I would learn to sing it. I would learn to play it. And I would like to emphasize singing. The singing part is super, super important because that's the only method I know with which you can put musical information into your brain.
Right.
And
Right.
and ultimately you are playing what you hear. There's no escape from that. So if you've done everything you can for the kinetic part of it, and it's still not happening, or you just plateau somewhere, then you have to start working on this because the oral skills are ultimately what matter the most in music. So
Right.
anyway, a long story short, practice different dynamic levels and and imitate your favorite recordings, basically.
Right. Right. Yeah, I really hope this answers his question. And there was another question about basically getting more clarity on rudimental stuff. How can someone work for especially getting singles and the doubles and the flams
Mm.
to get that clarity in their playing, you know?
Hmm. Well, want to say the standard stuff. I'm sorry, because it's just that's what all greats are saying, and they arrive. Do it slowly. Number one, do it slowly and with great care.
Right.
That's number one. And maybe another good advice would be do it in a systematic manner.
Right.
Which means, unfortunately, this topic is infinite. But for practicing sake, and this is what practicing is about, you just take a tiny chunk of it and master it to perfection. And then you take another chunk and another, and so this is how your vocabulary and skills build. And so let me just give you an example here with the single strokes. What I would be doing, for instance, there's this famous exercise. I think Benny Greb was propagating it amongst other people, where you play accents, one accent per beat, like one and two. I guess so. I know it from another book, so I'm not sure about the name of it, but you know what I'm talking about. One accent per beat, and then two, and then three, and you basically go through all permutations possible within a 4/4 bar and in 60 notes. So I think it's already a great task to work that out really smoothly. But I mean like really smoothly. And I find with my students that most people just simply make the mistake of not paying enough attention to it, attention to detail, and just rushing through. So this is what you should not be doing. You should slow down and just, I don't know, do a line a day, but make sure that it's like that,
right.
on 50 BPM, or even first out a click. Just go through the motions. Imagine what it's supposed to sound like. Accents are on one dynamic level, unaccented notes are on another, and make sure that both hands are obeying these rules basically. And you don't have like rogue accents and whatever, and just do a line a day, add another one, play them together. Next day add another one, play them together until you're done, basically.
Right.
And once you're done with that, do the same thing from the left hand. But the point is that by the time you finished, you can place any accent anywhere, in a 16-note environment. And that's your goal, actually. So also it's very important that you look behind the exercise. Exercise, is just one thing. No one cares about exercises. The skill set, what it can give you, is the most important. So I would do this, and then maybe, this should solve the clarity issue, really.
Right.
I think, and then you can put it to another subdivision or whatever, make another exercise out of that for yourself.
Correct. Cool, man. And also there was, obviously, as you just spoke about click, if you can, as an educator, give us some overview of how important the importance of a metronome and practicing with a metronome from the early days, and how that has helped you. And also a lot of students want to always ask, should we do it with a metronome or should we not do it with a metronome? How to get that on certain gigs we have to play to a metronome, while in certain places in a fusion scenario or in a jazz scenario we don't use a metronome. So what are your thoughts about that?
Well, number one, in the early days, absolutely compulsory. It's very important. Right. You have to get used to playing with a metronome, of course. In my opinion, as you start out, the metronome is your greatest enemy, and then it becomes your greatest friend, only to become your greatest enemy again. And I'll explain what I'm talking about. Obviously, as you start out, it's very difficult to play together with the metronome, but with decent practicing, you get used to it. And if you get good at it, it's going to be even comfortable and reassuring. When it becomes easy, that's when the metronome became your friend. But and this actually has happened to me. If after a while you realize that without the click, though, your timing is, well, okay, It's not bad, but it lacks some depth. You realize that, oh my God, actually I become reliant on it, and my inner sense of time and beat is not strong enough. And then you realize it's my enemy again. And there are tricks and methods to overcome that also. Just to give you one example, what I would be doing, and if I knew about this early, then I would have been so glad. So place the metronome on, for instance, an eighth note upbeat. So you don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, but you rather go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So and you can place it to other placement options also. And theory behind it is that you're still using the metronome as a timekeeping tool, but it doesn't give you the strong downbeat. You have to create it for yourself. You have to feel it for yourself, and so you can just adjust your timing according to that upbeat, you know. But then you have the downbeat. You tell the metronome where the downbeat is, and this is one very effective way of strengthening the feel of time, I find.
Nice, nice. I think that's a great advice, especially displacement of the click, and even trying to do it at maybe every 16th note, maybe trying to do it
Mm-hmm.
starting at A or maybe at E as well. So
Sure.
yeah, that's a great advice, bro. Uh, let's talk about your connection with India and how did that happen and how did you kind of how did India came into the picture and Mumbai and True School of Music. So let's talk about that.
Great question. Well, the whole thing is because of Amsterdam to start with. So,
Okay.
as you know, the True School of Music was founded, I think, in 2012. That's the same year when I started my master's in Amsterdam.
Right.
And of course, the folks were basically importing teachers, mostly short term, from Amsterdam and some from New York, if I'm not mistaken. And simply many of my friends went to Mumbai from Amsterdam, and I remember this clearly. Odysseus, sorry, Tumazu, a guy from Cyprus, a very, very good guitar player, was just about to leave Amsterdam, and we had like a farewell party, and we were sitting at the window at the party with the guy, and he says, "Dude, you should come to India also." And I never thought about it, so I was like, well, "Why?" You should come. I'm like, okay, whatever. Anyway, and the guy told me, oh, you should talk to these guys. There were like two folks who were suggesting names to the school, from the conservatory. And okay, and I realized I'm playing with these guys, but they never told me that they have this thing. So okay, maybe I'll mention it. So that's what happened exactly. I met one of them and mentioned that I think you have those Eastern connections, right? And the guy went like, shh, not so loud, like in a spy movie, and I was like totally stunned, but okay. Anyway, so he told me that, okay, send your CV if you're interested. But actually I didn't, because I was in a different zone. I never thought that it could be a thing for me, and didn't know much about India except some historical things. And finally he wrote me, dude, this is the time. If you're interested, send your CV now. And I was like, well, okay, let's try it. What could happen, Just like that. Worst case scenario, I quit and come home. But then what happened is I got stuck there for more than 5 years now, and then even got married there and everything. So I'm half Indian now, I guess. So this is how it came to be. Yeah.
Wow. So and also obviously you've been here for 5 years now and you've kind of pretty much seen the entire Indian music scene. What are your views about that and how was your experience performing with Indian musicians and all these amazing artists that you performed with already? How was that experience, and how is that different from something back home? How would you
Hmm.
compare the Indian music scene and the Hungarian music scene?
Oh wow, that's a difficult one. Well, first of all, when I got there, I was a little scared because, of course, I didn't know nobody. So, who am I going to play jazz here or anything, as a matter of fact, you know? But then slowly it turned out that there's quite a bit of opportunity, and in fact, I find that artists in general are much more respected there, you know. So that was the first clue for me that maybe I have something to do here after all, you know. So that was a pleasant surprise, and so I started attending jam sessions. That was my first thing to do, and then one gig followed the other, you know, and then people came and went. And well, what can I say? India, well, you can find anything you might be looking for, actually. So I played with so many different kinds of people, different musicians, and different genres also. So it's a very diverse scene, actually. I don't see so much of a difference between India and Hungary, for instance. It feels very close to Hungary. However, for instance, in comparison with the Netherlands, that would be very different. It's just simply the taste is different.
Right.
Those folks there mostly like I don't know, softer touch, I guess.
Right.
That's true for a comparison between Hungary and the Netherlands also. So I don't know, maybe our roots, maybe the kind of pop music we listen to, because that's pretty much like rock based here in Hungary also, and I find the same
Right.
thing in India, and it's a little bit different for some reason. So
Right.
maybe that's why. But nevertheless, I found quite a bunch of great jazz musicians also with a fine touch, you know, in
Right.
India. So you can actually find anything and everything you're looking for. In fact, I had the pleasure to play with well, actually, lots of them, but. We had a little trio with Aron Nyiro, for instance.
Yes.
I hope that we still have that trio, actually. It's just on hold for the moment, which I loved. I love his playing, and what's an absolute scarcity anywhere you go, actually, is
Right.
a double bass player. It's decent
Upright.
double
Yeah.
bass players. Yeah, but Abhinav Kokhar, sorry,
Yes.
for
Brilliant.
instance, brilliant guy, and there's others also. So I'm just picking names from the
Right.
top of my list. Um, and of course, there's the Indian tradition. Let's not forget about that. So I find that many people are like insanely equipped with all kinds of rhythmical intricacies, which is great. You know, those kinds of complex odd-time playing, for instance. Let's just mention Ranjit. Of course, I'm never going to play a gig with him because he's a drummer, but
Right.
unless he plays the keyboard since then or something. But for instance, that's just mind-blowing. So
Right. I was
that's
actually
unique.
coming. I was just coming
That's
to
unique
that
to
in the
India.
sense of about how what do you feel about the Indian rhythm system, and specifically like the Carnatic music and the Indian North Indian system as well. Did you ever try to get into understanding how the system works?
Yes, in fact, in Amsterdam we had a year-long course
Oh
about
wow.
that. So well, basically, I didn't indulge in it very deeply. I think I understand the system, but I totally like the tradition. Like I don't know because this is like folk music,
Yeah.
you know. So you need to learn certain phrases and even whole pieces. You know, classical musicians in India know certain traditional pieces which are like poems.
Right.
At least that's how it appears to me. And without that kind of a knowledge, you don't really fully understand the thing, you know. And so I don't have that, but I understand the mathematics of it.
Right.
And I'm trying to do it on my own way, not to play Indian classical music, because that's you know, I don't think I could authentically do it even if I like tried very hard, but I can take some of it, you know, which I can use, and ultimately over these years I find that that's what I like to do, cherry pick the best things which I like, you know, and
Right.
and for that I needed to understand the mathematics, and because I find that some of the top players, even from the western side of the world, take for instance Vili. He
Yes.
plays incredible odd stuff also, you know,
Right.
when the, I don't know, quintuplets are grouped into threes, and the whole thing is in 4/4 or the other way around, and you know, just like that, in the middle of an improvisation. So that was the reason why I wanted to get into it. Anyway, this was a long story, so but I like the knowledge about the tradition, you know.
Nice. Also coming to the drumming community, like if you can also compare that with the drumming community back home, what do you think about it? Because you have been very closely, you're also on the Indian drumming community group chats and stuff like that. So, what do you feel
Yeah.
about the upcoming Indian drummers, and also compared to the scene back home there?
Um, I really don't think that there's much of a difference. There's great guys coming up in India, and great guys coming up here also. What I do find, however, different is the atmosphere.
Yes.
Um, because I find the Indian drummer community a lot more warm and friendly. Like
Right.
I really feel that people are like genuinely helping each other, you know, and
Right.
genuinely feel a brotherhood, and that feels good. And it's not that it doesn't exist here, but it's a little bit I feel that it's more difficult to achieve, you know. So that's probably the number one thing which I love about India. This kind of brotherhood, which you can just sense in the air, quite literally.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that's the best thing because we all kind of play in different cities, different kind of genres, different artists, and and everybody has their own sound and everybody has their own way of looking at drums, and that's what this community is like really growing, especially in the last 10 years. It's really grown a lot, and as you said, there are some really incredible drummers now also coming up in the scene. So yeah, it's been pretty good with the in the Indian drumming scene currently. Okay. What's up for Aaron now going forward? What are the projects that you're working on, and something and when do you plan to come back to India and go back to TSM?
Another tough question. Well, first of all, when the lockdowns are over, so it's actually not up to me. When there's a possibility, then we go back. It's
Right.
it's simple as that. As for projects, well, I have some long-term projects. Mainly, of course, I'm trying to compose, and maybe if I have enough, I'm thinking that I'm gonna make an album, because why not? One wants to have
Yes.
one, right? And so that's one, but actually that's on as we used to say on a B track right now, because another long-term plan is to create an educational homepage. So I'm experimenting with the technicalities of it, but I started recording certain things. So um, it's going to be a video-based thing, and I
Right.
don't know when it's going to be launched. Probably not in the near future, but I'll get there. So that's right now the biggest project I'm involved with, and it's fun. It's fun. I have a friend of mine who helps me with recording it, and you know, after the
Nice.
work is done, it's always like nice chit-chatting time and whatnot. So it's fun to make it. I will need to edit it though, which is like, ooh, that's going to be a crazy lot of time. But it's fun to do. So these two, I guess.
Right.
And in the short term, I want to play as much as possible, because right now this country at least is opening up. I heard India too. So now is the time when we can play. So I want to spend as much time with that as possible.
Right. And Aaron, being an educator, what's that one advice you want to give to upcoming students, specifically because of the kind of information which is available right now on the internet? Pretty much every drummer in the world is teaching right now,
True.
So how can somebody who's just maybe, getting into the instrument, or somebody who's maybe 4 or 5 years into the instrument, what is the advice that you would want to give them right now?
I guess under the current circumstances, the best advice would be to stick to one thing for a while, because I think the problem now is the abundance of information, and you can easily get lost, really. So it's good to have an instructor, I think, or at least sort of a plan, and to set certain goals, like, okay, I wanna dive deep into, I don't know, jungle drumming, for instance, and just do that for a while, because I see this common mistake. In fact, I made this common mistake myself back in the day, to want too many things at the same time, And every day I wanna practice something. It doesn't work that way. You have to stick to one thing. I don't have like a timeline for that, but until you feel that, okay, I'm starting to get it, And yeah, that's the best advice I can give. Otherwise, actually, the information is out there. You can get it. If you don't know what you want, find an instructor. If you know what you want, then stick to it. That's, I think, my best advice. And look out for those. A little hint. Look out for those who have information which is rare. There's some missing information about. For instance, this click placement thing. I never heard about it until I went to Amsterdam, and by then I was like, what, 27, 28,
Right.
That was like a rare gem to find. Now I hear it more often, but there are certain things which are just hard to come by for some reason. So if you find one of those people, stick to those also and learn from them.
Right. Awesome, man. Alan, thank you so much. I think it's almost close to an hour. I'm just going to read out some comments. This is, I think from Avant. It's saying, you, Pavan, and AC really helped me in my journey in music. Some comments from Samir, and a lot of people were here, who joined us. We had our friend Abhishek Day, who was here.
Hey. Hey, Avi.
Yeah, man. But amazing, man. Thank you, Aaron, once again, man, for all your time and
My pleasure.
all the advice that you've given us, and really looking forward to now finally see you in India, and maybe shed together someday, and
It would be lovely.
up, and that'll be fun. Yeah. So thank you once again, and
My pleasure.
thank you from Zildjian, India, for joining, and we'll see you soon. Take care, brother.
Hope to see you soon.
Cheers.
Take care.
Bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone, for joining in, and I'll see you guys next week with another guest from somewhere around the globe. So keep sticking to Zildjian Talk. See you guys. Cheers.